Welcome to One More Game presented by Hoosier Pickleball. I am your host, Matt Brandenberger, alongside my lovely wife, Abby.
Hello.
And we are joined, as always, by our producer extraordinaire, Adam Marino.
Yes, as always.
As always. In this first episode. Now, technically, we did have a pre-episode, but this is episode 1 of our brand new podcast for those who love pickleball, but life be a little crazy. So, Abby, how was your week? How crazy was your week?
Well, so basketball for our oldest started, and club volleyball for the second child started.
We had a 1-week hiatus of no sports.
Yeah.
Which was kind of amazing.
Fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
It was delightful. I read a book. But anyways, so this week we had an e-learning day. So 4 kids doing e-learning because that one kid still went to school.
Bless your
we
heart.
had 2 days of early dismissal for one kid. And then I had 6 parent-teacher conferences. And I forgot a kid at school. So
Wait, is she still there?
Well, she's there now.
Okay, good.
But she's been home since.
Right. Okay.
To do e-learning.
Yeah.
You're right. Which
sure.
she got done. And so I had to call the school. I was like, so I think Eleanor's there. It's the 6-year-old, which is actually great because she's the one who thinks it's hilarious when I forget her.
When you make mistakes.
I mean, I've forgotten.
Mommy made a mistake.
Yeah.
She loves-
Dad. Good to see you. Mommy made a mistake today.
Yeah, they're like, or Eleanor's like, or the school said, we'll just keep her in the office with us. And I was like, I'll be there soon.
Oops.
But I get there and Eleanor's cracking up.
Yeah.
But like I have another kid who gets angry.
Oh, yeah.
I forget them all at some point.
Right.
But
Five kids for
so
the
she's-
new listeners.
yeah.
We have 5 daughters. So
yeah, so she's the one to forget. So anyways, it was, I don't know. Some moms just have it all together. I don't. I forget people.
But we
and
love you. We still love you. Very much.
They're all fed and clothed most of the time.
You promise?
No.
Yeah, no.
I
You
don't.
went right away. No.
Nope.
Yeah. So what else is going on? Any more crazy? Have you been able to play much pickleball?
Yeah. A little bit. How about you? Did you have a crazy week?
Yeah. I feel like it's just kind of been one of those weeks. It's just kind of
You have early meetings. In the morning.
a lot of work back in the swing. I had been off the week prior because of the death of my grandmother. So that was kind of hard to get back into the swing of things. But yeah, it's been a good, crazy week. Haven't really had a chance to play much now that the weather's kind of turning on us.
Yeah.
It's hard to get out and play.
We did play last night. Do we need to like
indoors, and it was rough. Yeah, we might need a counseling session. We should have been, instead of playing with the high level group we were with, we probably should have been back at the Y playing with the elderly group.
Yes, it was.
I play at the Y. I'm not elderly.
Oh, I'm sorry.
younger than you are.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you mean my skill level is that of the elderly?
I wasn't
Got
saying
it.
that.
Oh, I didn't.
He
Got it.
Okay.
Nope. Loud and clear.
I'm not
Nope.
part of this.
Nope.
It was
rough.
It was a rough night. So I feel like all of these like tips and tricks we have for you, like I know these things. Last night didn't do any of them.
Didn't apply them.
Went out the window.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is part of the game.
Yeah, and that is part of the game, and that's a good reminder for everybody that you're never going to be on every single day.
And it's a good
No.
reminder. Do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly. Like
That's the
Absolutely.
reminder
those who
here.
can't do
Yeah.
teach, right?
And those
Hey.
that can't teach PE.
Man, we are just firing. I've got a
Wow.
lot of teacher. I am a teacher. That I'm very offended, and I have a lot of
We just offended him
PE.
like 5
yeah, you're just like
times.
yes.
That was
Ouch.
amazing.
So
Ouch. Let's.
that's from School of Rock.
I
Right.
know.
Jack Black.
Right, I
So
know.
I wasn't like fully giving my
Right.
He was
take.
quoting a movie.
I was just quoting a movie, and I was just being funny. Obviously, people.
But it was
That's why I'm
awesome.
here.
But it
That's
was
why
awesome.
I'm here.
Right. Right.
That was
On that note, though, let's move on.
Yes. Please.
So let's get into it. Today's episode, we are actually going to focus on the serve and return. But in this podcast, we want to do more than just talk pickleball. Obviously, we're going to talk a lot of pickleball. But we also want you to get to know us a little bit if we're going to be the host of the show. And in our pre-episode, we kind of gave our backstory of how we met. The old classic tale as old as time love story.
That was fun.
Involves breadsticks, sardines.
The Matrix.
The Matrix.
I was going to say a Keanu Reeves flick, but it was The Matrix. Could have been Bill and Ted's or
Speed.
even Speed. might have been better. Who knows how this would have turned out, though. So
If it had been Speed, we don't know where we'd be today.
We don't.
You'd still wanted to make out with him no matter what movie it was.
Probably.
Because we
Right.
do know that.
Right. And we did learn in the first episode, but only once we started watching the movie. Prior to that,
I
she
don't know.
wasn't-
I don't
wasn't
know.
interested. Yeah.
It's been a
It
long
was
time.
it was a long. She's slept since
22
then.
years.
She's forgot many kids, but from then, I mean, there's been many events.
Right.
Okay.
All right. So, Adam, where do you want to go next? What do you want to know about the Brandenburgers and our story?
So I would like to know, when did you guys, when you got together, did you know that you were going to get married? Like who kind of knew first, and what was the vibe there? And were you thinking like, man, this is the one? Were each of you thinking that?
Why don't you start?
Oh,
And how early on did we know or think that we'd have 5 daughters?
Oh, I don't think I knew we'd have 5 until the 5th one was born.
Well, that's a good time, I guess.
Right. And I was like, well, there's 5.
But I mean, would that have been a deal breaker early on?
I think that's where he was. I think that's where he was going.
Yeah.
Well, duh. What an easy answer that was. Like, well, when the 5th one was
Right.
there.
Right.
Oh,
It's
kind of a
another
duh
one.
moment.
Why do I get so sweaty in here?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think in college, like, just kind of dating, and I obviously continued to date Matt because I liked him, and
That's good.
we have, in general, I think a lot of fun together. And, I mean, we had our ups and downs. Like, didn't we break up once or twice? I don't know. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of our story, though, I would say
Yeah.
was more along the lines of, we did date for about a year before I moved out to California for a
That's
period
true,
of time.
yeah.
And I feel like that was kind of the time.
Right.
And this
Okay.
was 2000.
2000.
Yep,
2000.
on the nose. Yeah. And then so it was that time, though, in California, I think, at least for me, that I was
Yeah.
like, okay, this is a relationship. We were together for, it was close to a year. Maybe it was only 8 months or so, that
Yeah.
now we're apart from each other. That whole absence makes the heart grow fonder. I think I started to think more seriously about,
Yeah.
where is this going somewhere? I was a junior in college at that time. So, no, I was a senior. That's right. So we'd started dating when I was a junior, and so I was going in my senior year. So I'm thinking, marriage for sure. She was only a sophomore. So, but should you tell the story of how we got engaged then?
Yeah. So Matt lived in these Fairlane apartments and had a room that, for whatever reason, this group of, I don't know how many guys you lived with, like 5.
Yeah.
They named this room.
The Boom Boom Room.
The
I have
Boom
no,
Boom Room.
no idea where the Boom Boom Room
It
came
had
from.
it had stadium seating of really crappy, gross couches, and it had a TV. You could watch all your sports or whatever. But anyways, it was the Boom Boom Room, which I don't even know.
You didn't enjoy
Even at the
going in there
time,
normally?
I don't think I
'Cause
spent
it's
much
like-
time in there. I was
It
like,
probably
well,
smelled.
and
It
the
was probably
whole-
very dirty.
The whole apartment was filthy, so this was not
Yeah.
where we hung out typically.
No.
But Matt was a fill-in news reporter for 21 Alive, and he would on the weekends, fill in, and then he would record it, and I would watch them. And this one weekend, he was so adamant, "You need to watch this one," and I'm like, "Oh my word!"
So that was my major in
yeah,
college,
yeah.
was sports broadcasting,
Yeah.
kind of the direction I was going. So our local ABC affiliate, I would fill in on the weekends. And in this particular weekend, I recorded kind of like a post, like it wasn't live on the air. But after we were done recording, then I basically proposed to her on the video with the anchors. I mean, it was legit. And then said
I
to
just-
her,
yeah,
I
I
was
just
like, hey, you got to watch my show from tonight. And she wasn't like super excited. She wasn't
I'd seen tons of them.
Yeah,
I was
it's
like,
just, what's the big
like,
deal?
okay,
Right.
okay.
I'm like, no, you got to watch this. And I'm like getting nervous, and I got the ring in my pocket and all that. So in the Boom Boom Room, I proposed to her,
I said yes.
and she said yes.
Now,
Not sure why.
were you just completely surprised, or had for the past few months, or have you been wondering?
I mean, I think
Your
that,
friend's been asking you, oh, do you think he's going to propose? Like, walk us through there.
well, it's just kind of one of those things where I don't think anybody in this generation gets married without gets engaged without talking about it first. I mean, it's not
Right.
like arranged marriages or anything like that. So yes, we had talked about it.
And I had done the whole talk to your dad thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
it
I
was-
didn't know. I mean, I had no
Yeah.
idea
Yeah.
that it was coming
Yeah.
in that
He had
moment.
some interesting things to say.
Let's just.
Yeah, but it was.
Was there a hesitation, or you
No,
were
yeah,
just
yeah,
happy and you
yeah,
just said yes?
yeah.
And then that was in the fall, I think, and then we got married.
Of 2001.
Right.
Yeah, actually, right before 9/11.
Oh yeah, it was. That's right.
Is when you got married?
Engaged.
No, that's when we got engaged, and then
Okay.
we were married. Then the following
July of 02.
July of 02. So we just had our 20 year this past July.
Wow. Yeah.
We were married in Springfield, Ohio, which is kind of right where Abby's hometown is from. So
Okay.
where she's from. But yeah, and then 20 years of bliss since then. 5 kids. We'll kind of get into their stories.
20 years of forgetfulness. and-
18 years of bliss. Couple
Yeah.
couple
I
rough
mean,
ones in the middle.
Yeah. I think that's
Oh,
very.
just 2 rough years?
Well,
Is that-
just, it comes and goes.
Right. Right.
Yesterday, not so good.
Yeah. Was that just because I played poorly at pickleball?
Yeah.
She doesn't love me as much when
No.
I don't play.
I was terrible as well.
What are you doing?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and take a quick break right now, and then we'll be back to talk a little more pickleball. Be right back. Come join the fun at pickleballrocks.com, your trusted authority when it comes to all your pickleball needs. Apparel, paddles, bags, hats, you name it, you'll find it there. Family owned and operated for nearly 15 years.
Matt and I are growth pros for Pickleball Rocks, and for being a loyal listener of the One More Game podcast, we can offer you a 15% discount at checkout when you use the code MATB15. So head over to pickleballrocks.com and check it out. Let's play.
All right, welcome back. And so, as mentioned earlier, we're going to talk about the serve and return today. And when we talk about the serve and return, this is really kind of the first stage of a pickleball point. There's a guy by the name of Joe Baker that was kind of the godfather of pickleball instruction. At least I would call him that. When I first started learning to play, he's got all kinds of videos out, wrote a book, and he talks about kind of these 4 stages. And so over the next few weeks, I think we'll kind of focus as we begin on these stages, and the first one being that serve and return. So in stage 1 there, the formality of the point, every pickleball point is going to start with a serve, and as long as that serve is in, there's going to be a return that comes back, so that's happening every time. So Abby, let's start with the serve, and then we'll talk the return. What would you say are some tips, some tricks, some strategies that you're thinking about when making a serve?
Yeah, I mean, so a serve, to be very honest, is a gimme. I mean, you should get it in and over. Over and in.
Yep.
And it's like a free throw. You should make those. So don't miss a serve.
That
ever.
said, you're going to miss some.
You're going to miss some,
So
especially
I
if
got
you're
a question.
if-
I got a question.
Yeah.
Okay. So once I am in a situation where I'm more of a beginner, and as I get 6 in a row and I'm starting to score, you know what happens? And I want to know if this is a thing.
Yeah.
I want to get cute.
Yeah.
And now I want to place it way in the back corner so that he has to like scoot up or scoot,
Right.
and like he can't get full extension,
Right.
and now it's like a poor play, and then you know what happens? I don't even hit it. I hit it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
I don't hate that though, to be honest with you. If you're a consistent server and you are pushing it a little bit, you're
Yep.
gonna hit them out, but you need to develop that long serve. So
Okay.
I mean, consider that just practicing. Part of rec play is practicing.
Yeah.
So I don't get upset at my partner if they're trying to
Okay.
push a serve.
I hate when I
mean,
do that.
Yeah.
I
hate
also
it.
hate it too. So yeah, last night I missed more serves than I normally do. That's a whole nother story. I typically feel like I'm a consistent server, and I
Yeah.
wasn't.
And there's definitely a balance to it. Like
Yeah.
Abby said, you want to push yourself
Yeah.
sometimes, and especially sometimes you'll have a partner that's more just the consistent server. I'm going to get it in. We're going to get into the flow of a point. And then you might be, and this is for me, I do a spin serve, which is going to be illegal here very soon. But I'm a little bit more of a pusher. So I'll have partners that will say, hey, I want you to push it. Even if you miss one, if you're missing half of them, that's one thing. But even if you're, only batting 80% and missing one,
You're probably getting points.
exactly.
Right.
So it's definitely like a
Yeah,
balance.
yeah.
As much as I agree with Abby, you want to get it over. and you want to be very consistent with it, there's a time to push it a little bit, and try to set up the point. Because going into the second point, Abby, about hitting it deep, right, is kind of what you would say next.
Yeah, I would say try to hit it. Deep serves is key. Unless you're deep serving and then you hit a short serve just to throw them off. So
Right. Take advantage of the fact that it does have to bounce. So make it to where if it has to bounce and they have to back up and they can't extend their arm to get a good receive, that's what you want. Take advantage of that, right?
Yeah,
that's one reason. The other reason I would say is because their whole goal, and we'll get into this when we talk about the return, is getting up to the kitchen line. So the further you put your serve, the further they have to go. And sometimes if you can get them backpedaling a little bit, then their momentum's going backwards, and it's going to be very difficult for them to get up to that kitchen line when they return. So a deep serve is something you want to think about as well. What else?
Kind of like Adam said, targeting backhands is good. You can practice that, and it's easier to target a backhand if you're on the right side of the court serving it to the left. It gets tricky when you're on the left side to the right, I think. So in that case, I tend...
Not if you're left-handed. Boom.
Very fair.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So in that case, in a lot of cases, I actually am just aiming right for the body. So if I'm aiming right for the body, they have to move left or right, whether they want to take it with their forehand or their backhand. That's what I prefer to do, because that's a wider margin for error, is just their person.
Yeah.
So,
and maybe for some of our more advanced listeners too, thinking also about pushing the serve wide can be a good idea, especially if the team you're playing against is stacking, they're switching. That's going to make it harder for them to get that switch. They may even have to call their switch off. So hitting a wide serve can be a good idea. Also, hitting it up the tee, again, is a good idea as well, to cut off the angles that they can hit. Some people are really good at hitting a return. If you put them out wide, they're going to hit a real sharp angle on you, and it's going to make it tough for your next shot. But kind of keeping it more in the middle, up the tee, up the middle of the court on your serve. But again, you're flirting with danger a little bit when you're either trying to go wide or go up the middle, because you can miss that. So for beginners, I would say try to aim deep and in the middle of the court.
Yeah. And then I always have to add in too, you do your serve and you please don't take a couple steps in.
Oh, yeah.
Please just stay back.
And you and I have to remind
you gotta let
each
it
other.
bounce.
Yes.
You have to let it bounce. And I have people, Matt was doing this for a while, where then
Still do.
you do, and then he's backing up. He's on his heels trying to hit a third shot. Well, you can't hit a great third shot back on your heels. You're either going to loft it or hit it in the net. And so then Matt has to drive it, which that also sometimes is great.
Yeah, and I'd
sometimes
say
doesn't go well.
a good rule of thumb is to stay behind the baseline.
Yeah.
Stay back. Usually it's a different color of the court. Stay behind that baseline, though. The place we usually play, it's like in the blue. Stay in the blue.
Yeah.
So that you are not sneaking into the court and having to backpedal at all. It's a lot easier to move your momentum forward, especially when you're trying to get up to that kitchen line eventually. So
And that's just,
stay back.
Yeah, being a good athlete is your weight shift. The weight shift is a good athletic to be going forward instead of back on your heels.
Yeah.
One thing too that helped me, that I wonder what you guys think, is when I played last, I told myself, because I had issues creeping up and then getting caught where I have to let it bounce, and I'm like, oh no, I'm up too close. And as soon as that happens, I say to myself, I was supposed to stay back.
Right.
So because of that, what I did the last time I played is I made a mental effort to focus more on staying back, where I let other things go maybe, but I was really focused on just staying back. And it worked because I just picked that one thing. A lot like I would compare it to golf. If you're not worried about all the 9 things, but you're just worried about one, so that when you hit your shot, you're saying, all right, I'm going to stay on my follow through and I'm going to overextend it so that my follow through is good. I'm not going to worry about my hips. I'll worry about that next time. So yeah, you might mess up on a serve because you're not focused on the serve. You're focused on staying back, right? But you get that one thing down though, at least. And I ended up playing, in my head, I think I played a lot better that day from just focusing on one thing. So for those of you that have been caught up like I have before, take that and just do that for the next time you play. Think, just stay back. Don't worry about all the other stuff.
Right.
Just stay back and watch what happens. Is that?
And then here you are encouraged. You're like, oh, I played better. So then it's just more motivating, and
sure.
And you get that muscle memory because then now hopefully staying back is now not something you're gonna have to think about a ton.
Now the next thing I want to think is on my backhand, don't get cute. I need to just get it over. So like now I'm ready for the next thing. Just as an example.
Yeah,
exactly.
Consistency.
Yeah.
And so
I think that's very fair. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
awesome.
a great way to rec play. You know.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, that's good stuff. We're going to leave that topic there with the serve, and we'll take another quick commercial break, and then we'll be back to talk about the return.
Yes, sir.
Are you new to the game of pickleball and looking to learn the basics? Or maybe you're an experienced player who wants to take your game to the next level? Both Matt and I would love to help.
That's right, Abby. We are both Level 2 IPT-PA certified instructors and would love working with you, either giving you private lessons, group lessons, or hosting a clinic. We also offer unique video coaching utilizing the latest in drone technology. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, or TikTok by searching Hoosier Pickleball, or email us at HoosierPickleball@gmail.com. Also, check out the show notes for all the links to our social channels. All right, we are back thanks to our sponsors, both Hoosier Pickleball and Pickleball Rocks today. We love being interactive with you guys out there, so if you have any questions or thoughts or comments, please find us on any of those social media platforms, and we will connect with you. All right, so before the break, we had talked about the serve, and now the second part, again, looking at this first kind of progression or this first phase of a pickleball point that we are kind of calling just the beginning of every point has the serve and the return. So now let's kind of move on to the return, Abs, and what are we focusing on with that?
Yeah, so again, this is always going to be a key, is getting it over.
Because in many ways, the serve and return are similar. There's some similarities.
They're similar.
Yeah.
So you can, you're still responding more as the returner. So, getting it over and getting it in. And then I would say deep as well. So over and deep, because the servers have to let it bounce. So if you can handcuff them or put them on their heels, then you are setting yourself up to be the aggressor in this point.
And one thing that we haven't really talked about much, but I think is important, especially for beginners, because I think we kind of do this naturally now, but when you're first starting out, set yourself up to go to your strength. So if your strength is probably your forehand, cheat over a little bit to the left.
So you can get there easily.
So you can get to your forehand more easily. Don't set up like right in the middle of the back of the return zone. Set up so that you're probably going to hit your forehand. And if you're quicker, like it's really hard to get to my backhand because I prefer my forehand. So I'm almost like on the sideline. And so I'm forcing the person, if they want to go to my backhand, they're going to have to really
place it. Yeah. And then they'll make an error.
Then they might make an error. So as a beginning player, think about where you want to hit your serve, or your return, probably with your forehand, and just cheat over maybe 25% from the left sideline or from the middle if you're returning on the right side.
Yeah, the more you play with people, the more you see this. But like Matt's spin serve, I cannot return it with my backhand, but I can return it with my forehand. So when I know Matt's spin serving it, I compensate so far over because I refuse to hit it with my backhand. Okay. So there you go.
I'll start aiming for
so
your backhand.
I know, I see, but you can't because I am so far over. You will not get into my backhand.
And Abby is quick enough to get there. So
I can.
Even if I serve it up the middle, then she's going to be able to move to her right. But at that, maybe it makes her lunge, and maybe she hits it a little harder than she wants and it goes out. That's also a possibility.
So here's something interesting then that you got me thinking. As more of a novice player, I mean, I have a membership at the Y, and I do enjoy playing with the older folks because they are so fun.
They're so fun.
I do love doing that. And my buddy has a court at his property, and like I'm definitely a novice, but I enjoy playing. But here's the thing. When you said people like to go to their forehand more in general. So here's the thing. I am going into ping pong mode. And that's a lot of backhand.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I
And
mean,
they're
there are
crazy,
people.
right?
No, there are people who
So
run around to their backhand.
I think
Yeah.
I do. And
Okay.
here's the other thing. I'm ambidextrous.
Yeah, that's great.
And so I find myself switching.
That's amazing.
And
Just go with that.
okay, because
Yeah.
I don't feel good about it
Yeah.
usually. But,
Own it. Just own it.
But I love putting spin on a return, and that's my backhand.
Mm-hmm.
So everything you just said actually in a weird way did not resonate the
Right.
same
Yeah.
way.
No,
and
that's
I'm
good.
wondering like, well, wait a minute.
So you're a type of player that we would call more of a backhand guarder. So you're playing with the paddle kind of right in front of you, and you're preferring your backhand. So if
Guys,
if
So
I'm
I would hit it to your forehand.
This is just episode
Yeah.
1, and we're getting
Yeah.
into some
Yeah.
stuff
And
here.
I-
This
Yeah.
is awesome.
And
Yeah.
I don't want to get too much in the weeds, but
No,
if I
for
was,
sure.
if I was playing against a person like you then, and I see you're holding that paddle and you're preferring your backhand, then what am I going to do? I'm going to try to go, since you're right-handed, right? I'm going to try to go.
Well, I'm left-handed.
Oh, you are left-handed.
I really am.
Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
said that.
But
You did.
But
You
you
did.
play with your right hand
You're
or both.
amphibious.
So you're going both.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Here's the problem.
Ambidextrous, guys. I know the word.
Here's the deal. I'm
Don't write the show.
I'm ambidextrous, but I'm bad at both. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
So here's my quick thing. You guys
Yeah.
ready?
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
episode 1. We can explain it. I can get into it, right?
Yeah.
All right. So batting, I've only felt comfortable batting left-handed. However, let's really think about this. You're holding the bat, and the power is truly from your what hand? Think about it.
I don't know.
It's your right.
Ooh.
As you follow through and swing a baseball bat,
yeah, okay.
your follow through is with your right hand. Look at Abby on video getting
I
it
don't
now.
know how to
Right.
play. I don't know how to hit left.
So you're doing it. So sorry. We just so look, your right hand is getting the power.
Okay, yeah.
So this is what I'm
Okay,
saying.
okay.
So and then my kindergarten teacher in California made me switch hands and use my right hand. So now when I
You have
cut
heard
That
the
was a thing.
when
Yeah.
I cut scissors or throw a frisbee, I generally will grab it with my right hand, even if it's on the left side of me,
Yeah.
because it's just more natural.
Mm-hmm.
Now I throw a mean frisbee with my left hand still,
Yeah.
but so I'm weird.
Yeah.
You're
Basketball,
complicated.
all that stuff, I'm left-handed all the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dribbling, better left-handed. Golf, we could never find me left-handed golf clubs growing up.
Yeah.
So even though I swung a bat left-handed, I have to switch my arms
Ooh.
and go, and it is not a pretty sight. I'm like Charles Barkley.
Right.
Anytime I hit it
Hey,
straight,
his swing's improved.
I know, and mine has too. You ask my buddies I golf with,
So
and
you
I'm getting
really are
better
Charles.
because
Charles
I'm
Barkley.
getting better right-handed. All that to say,
Okay.
I feel decently comfortable
Yeah.
with
Mm-hmm.
a paddle either hand.
That's awesome.
Now, I have my tendencies, and
Sure.
the reason my right hand backhand is so good is because of ping pong. And when you swing a bat,
Mm-hmm.
do that motion. Think
Right.
about it.
Yep.
It is your backhand.
Makes
Mm-hmm.
sense.
So
Yeah.
I don't understand, how are more people not like this? I feel like I'm the weirdo,
You are.
but I'm just trying to explain.
Yeah.
right.
So my situation is when I return, when I'm ready to return, I have the paddle in my right hand. And
But you
I
slice it.
assume,
Yep.
and I assume that even if it's on the left side of me, I won't even, sometimes I'll switch hands if
switcher. Yeah.
it is way out there and I need to
You
just
need to
get it
reach.
over.
Right.
But overall,
Yeah.
I will
Right.
backhand all day long. And even
Yeah.
left-handed, I will. If I'm moving on the other side,
Yep.
I'll backhand it that way because I want to slice and I want to put that
Yeah.
spin on
So
it.
I mean, I feel like I can name.
But I feel like a freaking weirdo.
No, like
No.
I'm gonna name some names. I feel like our friend Gabe and Oz, they are backhand return slicers.
Mm-hmm.
So when I play against them, I am doing my best to get to their forehand, which is counterintuitive.
Right. And there's
So for you, I would see you return one or two slices back, and I'm like going to his forehand.
And there's some people that I would say it also depends where on the court they are.
Yeah,
Where
that's
they're
fair.
back, you want them to hit it with their forehand, but as they come up to the net,
Yeah.
they're now going to be a little bit more backhand heavy. So then you might want to kind of switch things around. So it also matters on court position as well. All right. So let's
Yeah.
get back to the
Yeah.
return, because that's really what we're talking about here. Is what are some of the other things in the return game that you want to think about?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I mean, what do you think? Like deep.
Yep, getting it over first and foremost, like you said.
Staying back.
Getting deep. It's kind of the opposite though of the serve, where you're trying to make sure you stay back. On the return, you're trying to move yourself forward. Excuse me. So you're trying to think, I want my momentum going forward so that I can get to that kitchen line. Because I think I might have mentioned it in the pre-episode. The very first thing that my buddy Ryan said to me when I first started playing was the key is the third shot drop. So getting up to that line, hitting that return so that you're up at the line and you're forcing that person to hit that third shot drop perfectly. If you stay back, they can just wail away at it. But if you can get yourself to the line, you and your partner are both there, you're setting up a wall that's going to force them to hit a good shot.
Because your partner's already up there.
They should be.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
So you can just sprint to the line, really.
Yeah.
And I mean, but oftentimes, like, I can be lazy and I can do a nice lofty return that gives me more time.
Right.
To get to the line.
But I'm glad you said that, because that's a great point that a lot of beginners don't think about. They think, I want to hit a hard return and make it harder. Actually, the best returns have a little bit of loft on them and a little bit of spin as well. But don't worry about the spin if you're just starting out. Put a little bit more loft on it, especially if you're an older listener or you're don't move as well. That does give you more time. It's not always just about being lazy, but it's about being smart and hitting a lofted return that's going to give you time to get up to the line.
And also, if you're younger and don't move well, let's
There
not
is
just
also that
because,
population.
hi,
Yeah.
it's me. Hi.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Like,
yeah, I mean, I
didn't
move
say that.
well and I still do that.
you said for older who don't move well, but you never said for younger who don't move.
There are definitely those two.
There's one of those. His name's Adam.
Yes.
A couple other things to think about is what to target. Targeting their weakness, like we said, that might be their backhand, but you might notice, like you said, with some players specifically, where you might target their forehand. But whatever you find their weakness to be, target that. And a great rule of thumb is to aim for that tee. We said for higher level players on the serve to kind of aim for the tee can be a good idea. But for the return side of things, I mean, that's like
fighting. Who returns it? Yours, mine.
Right.
I mean, there was a time the other night where I was like, yours, I mean mine. And then I don't think either one of us got it.
And then it went up right by you. Yeah.
And I was like, sorry.
And a lot of courts,
happened was
a lot of courts too, the lines will be a little slick. And so you can't, there's so many times where the ball hit the line. So not that you're so precise that you're going to hit that, but if you aim for the middle, you'll be surprised how many points you win.
Hey, we have friends aiming for lines. I mean, they hit their lines.
Absolutely.
And it skids.
Yeah. And it also, the last thing I'll say about that, aiming for the middle tee, is that it also prevents them from going real strong angles on you. So if you return somebody and they're a really good, a lot of the ladies that we play with who have tennis backgrounds are so good at hitting like this cross court, like diving shot.
Yeah.
Like if you go up the middle, they don't have the angle to hit that quite as easily.
Yeah. I feel like there's several ladies that I don't return it to their backhand because they're going to two-hand backhand some angle that puts my partner, my partner, his line, and it just sets them up for success. And then we're all, on our heels and trying to recover. So,
all right. Anything else on the return? Okay. So that kind of sets up again that first phase of the pickleball point. Next week, we'll get into phase 2, which is kind of that struggle to the line, they say. So talking about the third shot drop, and we'll kind of get into that a little bit more on the next episode. All right, so that's going to do it for episode officially number 1.
Man, a lot of great information here, guys.
Yeah.
This was
That
awesome.
was
Love
fun.
Love it. As always, we want to thank our sponsors, Hoosier Pickleball, Indiana Physical Therapy, and Pickleball Rocks. In addition, a big thank you to our production company, Coraggio Media, and the 95.7 WELT studio in beautiful downtown Fort Wayne. Please make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, or find us on YouTube at One More Game Pod. That's the number 1 More Game Pod. Hit that subscribe button and be sure to leave us a 5-star rating to help us spread the word. You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok at Hoosier Pickleball for all kinds of fun, tips, tricks, and other family nonsense, and also some great discussion. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.